Hi guys. I'm gonna snip the beginning of this live stream off because I wasn't muted and I was telling my dog to stop. She's got the zoomies. Good timing. Good timing from my dog. But there we are. These things happen. Are you gonna settle down? Lulu. So yeah, if you manage to catch me before I edit this, if you're watching this later and you can hear me calling my dog, that's what that is. Are you gonna lie down? I think that's a no. I think that's a no from Lucy. And that jingling bell is, we trained her to ring a bell when she wants to go out. She has just been out. She doesn't need to go out for a wee. She is just wanting to run around the garden like a mad thing. It was really good. So you can get little bells that they sort of tap with their feet. But Lucy's only got 3 legs. So that wasn't going to work because she can't lift her front paw, obviously. Because it's a front leg she's missing. So we got her it's like jingle bells, if that makes sense, that hang off of the door handle, and so she can nudge it with her nose. But she likes to do it whenever I am busy. At the moment she's running around with the ball, or in the evening. So we go to bed at like 10, and about 9:30 she starts up with jingling the bell, wanting to go out, just being up and down, up and down, up and down. She's quite young. They aged her at between 1 and 3, so she's just still really silly. It is what it is. So I mean, she's not in my good books at the moment. I'm just going to say that we are live on Instagram in case anyone wants to join us. Live on YouTube. There we go. Yeah, what was I saying? The dog. She's not in my good books because if you might have seen on my Instagram, on Friday, I was walking the dogs and I've got a lead that you clip both of them onto. So it's got like 2 extendable bits and each one clips to a dog. So I had them on there and I was coming out of the house and she spotted a cat and she's got a real prey drive. She is just like, she's a lurcher. It is fairly instinctive and it will take a lot of training to get her. To be fair, my older dog Dolly was like that and would have darted after a cat. And she's really strong. So yeah, I think, Lucy's strong as well. I think, with Dolly, it's taken a long time. And she still would go after a cat, but she's less bothered. Whereas Lucy is just like, there's a cat. I really want that cat. And she just caught me off guard because obviously I'm aware that that's something that can happen. Because I was only just coming out of my house, she just caught me and she whipped me round and there's a wall, like a knee height wall, and she dragged me into it and it got me right on the kneecaps. And I think because I was pulling back, it bent my knees as well. Horrible. Sorry, I probably should have trigger warned that was unpleasant. And I passed out, which was the strangest thing. I have not passed out since I was probably about 19 or 20, and I gave blood at university. And yeah, in fact, I think that's the only other time I've passed out, which is remarkable when you think that, like, I've had 3 kids and I have been ill a couple of times and stuff that could be painful. I do karate. I've been punched in the face. I don't, to be fair, it's not meant to be hard at karate. I've done some stuff that hurts. Yeah, it really shocked me. It was so weird when I came round. I am actually totally fine. It was painful for probably about 24 hours and now it's just slightly achy if I've been on my feet a lot. So fortunately, unscathed. But on to writing things. So as usual, it'll be 3 lots of 15-minute writing sprints. All I have to do today is rewrite a little bit of the soil book. And I have been prevaricating about this. Well, I just can't get it right. So that is my focus this morning, is to just get that last little bit right. The dog to be quiet. But yeah, that's the plan. And it's literally 1 verse. So who knows? I might get it done. But that is... my focus is just to have a go at writing and rewriting until I'm happy with it. So that's my goal. Let me know in the comments what you're up to. I'd love to know as always. Yeah, let's get some stuff done. And sorry about the dog. Right, here goes. I will put the writing sprint banner up. I'm going to put myself on mute. I will be back in 15 minutes. Okay, guys, that is the end of 15 minutes. I really wish, sorry, that the camera was better on here. I feel like my old laptop had a better, like, what do you call it? Is it a webcam? I don't actually really know when it's inbuilt. Does it have a different name? But anyway, I feel like the one on here is not very good. But it's the easiest way to stream, obviously, rather than like setting up my camera setup and all of that. On that note, actually, broken my camera. Um, so I have a Sony Handycam that we bought just before my son was born because we were going to film little bits and pieces of, my son's grown up and that. And we did for a little while. But because it's HD and blah, 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 the files were really big and we just found they were taking up so much space on our hard drive. So we got rid of the camera. Got rid of the camera? No, we didn't. So we stopped using the camera and it just sort of sat in a drawer and we would just film stuff on our phones. I think that was it as well. It was like the transition because at that point I didn't have a smartphone. I feel like I had a BlackBerry. I got a smartphone when my daughter was born and she's 11 now. So there we are. So like I would have taken pictures, but I think it's different with like the big screen and all of that. I definitely have photos that I took with my phone, but yeah, back then I would have used like a digital camera, and we had this Handycam. So I think it was the crossover, and I think we started filming stuff on our phones, and then that footage was obviously way more accessible. So anyway, I started using that camera when I started this channel, and I think I've had this channel for 6 years. And so I mean, that camera has had some serious use. There have been times where I've uploaded twice a week. I've taken that camera to vlog when I've been on holiday. Like, I've really, really used that camera. And it started to be a bit temperamental that sometimes I'll be in the middle of filming something and it will suddenly say like data error. And it will have recorded everything up to that point, but then nothing. And obviously I don't know exactly when that break occurred. And I tested it and it's not the SD cards, it's the camera. So that was quite annoying. I should put those on mute. And so that's sort of become an issue. And then it's got to the point where when it does that, it's then struggling to write the file. So sometimes I lose the file altogether. And then the issue with that is that, obviously then I'm refilming stuff. Anyway, I then dropped it recently. I've dropped it before. And it's broken the battery compartment. So the battery does go in, but it doesn't stay in very well. And I can use it plugged in, but again, it's got this issue with like writing files. And it seems that when I've used it a lot, like if I've had a filming session, I've been sat there like filming, it suddenly starts to malfunction. If I can film a clip or do something quite quickly, it's fine. So anyway, I've looked into getting a new camera and they're quite expensive. I will do at some point because I do want something that's got really good resolution and what have you. But to be fair, in the meantime, my phone is probably as good. Like if I'm editing something where I've got phone clips and camera clips, you can't tell the difference other than the audio. And I now use a microphone anyway. And actually probably the phone is better on the audio. So I'm just going to use my phone for now. I've bought a tripod mount for it because I would buy a new camera, but I don't entirely know what I want. I have a few ideas, but I'm not totally sure what I would like to get. So I'm going to spend a few months just deciding for sure. And if anyone has any recommendations, let me know. But yeah, in the meantime, I'm going to be using my phone for filming like main videos. But yeah, obviously these, I'm using the webcam on my laptop. My laptop's a, what's it called? A MacBook. Is it a MacBook Pro? No, it's not. What's it called? It's not an Air. It's the other one. It's just like a normal MacBook. But yeah, it just, definitely the Air had better camera on it. In so many other ways, this laptop is better, that the camera is not great. To be fair, I think probably in about 2 or 3 years, I will get a much better laptop. This one, as you may recollect, is because I melted my old one. So this one, it's better than my Air other than the camera. But I think at some point I want like a big upgrade. but there are financial implications to that. So there we are. Anyway, I haven't got any writing done. I've just been like tidying up my like all the windows that are open and checking my emails. So that's where I'm up to. I need to focus and I need to do the writing. It's because I didn't sit down at normally I sit down at about 9, and then by the time I'm coming on live, I've done all that. But I was chatting to a neighbour, so that was pleasant. Anyway, let's do another 15 minutes. So this is our second 15-minute sprint. And I will actually do some writing this time instead of admin. Right, so here goes. I will see you in 15 minutes. Okay, that is the end of our 15-minute, our second writing sprint. So let's take a little break before we go on to our last writing sprint. I have rewritten 2 lines of the bit that I'm struggling with. I've rewritten the whole thing, but it then doesn't flow into the next verse. What I'm struggling with is introducing the story, because it's the first verse I'm rewriting, um, and it's sort of flowing into the rest of it with the same style and meter. And it's just a really hard concept to introduce. Um, there's an option for me to drop that verse altogether and put something in later on. So because the next verse afterwards does kind of introduce, like, it starts the story, but I feel like I want a page that gives an overview. So we're like, here's the overview, and now let's go. And I'm just struggling because what I'm writing about is such a big concept and a really hard one to describe in 4 short lines. So I'm having a go. I'm rewriting it again and again and again until I get something that I'm happy with. I'm not happy yet, and it's obviously within the constraints of needing to rhyme it and stuff. So it's tricky, but I'll get there. I'd love to know what you guys are working on today. What are you writing? What are you working on? Because of course you can join these live streams just for some company while you're working on other things, working from home and what have you. Yeah, I've got my usual day today where I'm doing some volunteering this afternoon, but this morning I want to get this little bit of writing done. If I don't, I've got to finish it tomorrow. Tomorrow I've got a bathroom being delivered like first thing in the morning. I'm slightly concerned they're going to try and deliver while I'm on the school run, which would be pretty disastrous. So hopefully they will come before that. I think I can track. Hopefully I can track. Anyway, yeah, if I don't finish this little bit of writing this morning, it will have to be tomorrow morning, because I keep kind of walking away from it to see if some space helps. And I think it sort of helped, but sometimes when I do that, I get like, that's what I should do. And I haven't really had that. I've just had some, well, I could do this or I could do that. So it's not there. So maybe I'll finish it today. If I don't, that'll be tomorrow. And then I have some social media bits that I need to do today. 2 of my books are free on Kindle Unlimited today. So that's the Discovering Marine and Coastal Habitat series. So I need to advertise that and do some other like weekly social media lining up bits that I do. So that's kind of my plan before I head off. And I've got a whole load of stuff that I need to do. I was going to mute that. A whole load of stuff that I need to do in town. So like a big list, big shopping list, basically. We have got more renovations starting this week. So actually next week, potentially I'll have a builder here, although I think he'll be working upstairs. So I should be all right to live stream. So yeah, he's starting like Wednesday, Thursday this week, I think. So we're making sure that all of the things have arrived. We're ready to go. So yeah, that's something. Last time we had the builder here, it got quite difficult. One of the difficulties is obviously that the builder might be sort of back and forth, or like need me to answer questions or what have you. So that just makes things a little bit tricky. But I don't think we'll be in that situation, especially as he's not starting on a Monday. So if he was arriving and I was live streaming, that becomes tricky. But he should be a few days in by that point. We are so close on this house being nearly done. I mean, as with anything, it won't be totally done, but to just be in the point where it feels like every room, I'm not looking at big jobs. I'm looking at just, oh yeah, like that bit of paint needs touching up, or oh that, I don't know, whatever, like, oh, we need a picture for there, or we like those little things are easier than at the moment. As I look around me, we need a whole new floor in here. Like there's literally gaps in it. There's no skirting board in here. It's freezing cold because we need a new back door. So yeah, there's just like a whole load of stuff, and there's bits of paintwork I filled that need painting over. The windows need some sealant put on them. So there's just like a lot, and some of those jobs are things for us to do, and some are bits that the builder's doing. So I think he will be here for 2 more stints. The stint that starts this week will be a bathroom, and then hopefully some of these other jobs. But I think he will then have to come again for at least another week because we've got a cupboard that's being built. I'm not sure if he will get to the floor in here. So there's a lot of stuff. So fingers crossed that there isn't that much now and the end is in sight and we need the door people to come and there's cladding to go on and stuff and junk. So anyway, let's do a last 15-minute write and then we can have a last chit chat. So 15 minutes, let's go. All right, guys, that is us. I'm making progress. I definitely have. One of the issues I had was I didn't entirely know I did know what I wanted to say, but there was too much. And so now I've narrowed it down to exactly what I'm trying to say. Now I'm just trying to make it rhyme. So it feels a bit more achievable than before. It was like, well, I want to talk about, so the book's about soil. Like, I want to introduce the fact that soil, um, it provides our, everything can grow from it, and the water filters through it, and it's a carbon sink, and it's doing all these things. But also, we can't really say that soil is full of beasties, because sometimes it's not. Sometimes certain kinds of soils are quite low in biodiversity or low in nutrients, or like I end up when I'll go, oh, it's busy, full of life. But it isn't. Some are, not all of them are. Or like just trying to find a way of phrasing it that takes account of the fact that soils are all different, and that kind of just generalizes. That's where I'm struggling, of like, underground there is some soil and it does some stuff and it's pretty cool. That's quite hard to say in a good way, because as I say, anytime you try and be specific of like soil does this, you'd be like, well, not all of them do. So that's what I'm struggling with. But I think I have a thing happening that now I just need to make it rhyme, and then that should be good. Everything else is done. The whole rest of the book is good. I've got the sketches. I've made a draft of the book that's then going to go off to be approved. Basically, the next steps of the process are for them to just say yes on the words or no. And if they're happy, then that goes to the editor, who will then nitpick over obviously spelling and grammar, but also she tends to pick up if some word use doesn't work or something doesn't quite flow. Like, it's been to betas and they've picked a few things up, and some of those suggestions were really helpful. But yeah, the editor kind of goes, actually, if you did this like this, it would work better. So she's really good. So as soon as Natural England are like, yeah, now the words are fine, because they've had a few little don't like this, not sure on that. So hopefully this will now be it on the words. And then they get the opportunity then to see the artwork for the first time and give their thoughts for Rhiannon to then go back into the sketches and make any changes. So I've said a couple of things where I'm like, oh, not sure about this, or could we change that? Or because sometimes for me it's I'm not really sure, because the soil guys are going to know. So it's like, oh, is that right? And then they can go either, oh yeah, that's fine, or no, that needs to be XYZ. So yeah, but the illustrations are super cool, and anything Rhiannon needs to do will just be a like, change this plant for that plant, or move this, and she's doing it all digitally, which makes it a lot simpler as well. So hopefully for her that will only be like one round of revisions as well, and then she can ink all that in, and then we're through to putting the book together, which is super exciting. And this book has got some extra little features that previous ones with Natural England haven't had, which is really cool. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at. So what I will do now is I'm going to disappear probably upstairs, because it's really cold downstairs. Let the dog out, because I shut her away. I've only got one of my dogs with me snoring. And go through what I've written out loud, because I find it so much easier to write in verse out loud. So that's what I will do next, is just go and sit talking to myself for a little bit. You might have noticed I got a phone call, by the way. That was the delivery guy saying that my bathroom can come today. So that's really cool. So yeah, we've got that being delivered, and I've got deliveries tomorrow and on Friday. So it's just like scheduling everything so that I'm here. Yeah, getting everything all organized and figuring out when and if I'm going to be teaching this week. I ended up doing 2 days last week, which was really cool. It's great to have these opportunities, and then we'll see what happens this week. At this point, I don't know. So yeah, that's how my week is shaping up. I'm hoping to get this thing off to Natural England tomorrow at the latest. And then that sort of starts the next phase of the process. And then I'm writing an article that I'm just waiting for 2 more quotes to finish off. Basically, once I've got those quotes, I can drop them in, and then that can go off to that editor. And then I want to get back into the karate book that I was writing, because I am still very much in the mood to write that. And if I am fortunate enough to be able to work from home for a good chunk of time, then I can make really good progress on that. But that's always like, I just don't know week to week what's happening, and you have to make some hay while the sun shines. So if I am offered opportunities to work in schools, then I will do so. So yeah, that's my week. As always, I'd love to know what you're doing, what you're up to, what are your plans. Yeah, you know, it's always good to know. Also, if you have any requests for videos, I have a long list. I'm not sure what I fancy making this week. And so I'd be happy to take suggestions, because something you suggest might be something that I fancy more than the things I've come up with myself and the things that are already on the list. So do let me know if there's something you'd like to see from me. That's everything that I have to say, I think. So I'm going to finish up for today. Thanks for joining me. I'll be here again next week. As I say, there might be a builder around the place. But other than that, I will be here doing some writing. I'd love to have you join, whether, as I say, that's to write with me or to do some other stuff. Do your emails, do your accounts, do some cleaning, whatever it is that you want. If you want to hang out, you are more than welcome. So yeah, thanks for joining me, and I will be back next week. Take care.